Eminence, Oswald Cardinal Gracious, President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India, Reverend Dr. Paul Partharu, Director of the St. John's National Academy of Health Sciences, Associate Director, Dean Dr. George D'Souza, Vice Dean Dr. Anurara Ananthamurthy, Heads of Departments, Faculty, the Graduate Representative Clive Martin Rodriguez, MBBS students and graduates, prize winners, especially wonderful Sister Beatrice from the batch of 64, for all that she's done. Parents and family members, dear friends, I hope that covers everybody. It really is a great honor to be invited here on such a momentous day for St. John's Medical College, as we come together to celebrate another convocation ceremony in the history of this illustrious institution. I know it is in many ways an expected tradition for a speaker to offer paeans of tribute to the institute they're speaking in. But I think we can all agree that St. John's reputation is not only well beyond doubt, it is an irrefutable fact that whether you look at rankings or the volume of contributions that your alumni have made across the world, or most important, the emphasis on service to those who are less privileged, this is indeed truly a special place to be in. In many ways, it's therefore humbling to think that I'm sharing this room with young men and women who will go on to offer a beacon of hope in our healthcare industry, young men and women who will go on to shine a light for our fellow Indians who languish in the darkness created by the daily terrors of poverty and inequality, and indeed young men and women who will be the engines of our country in this century. So while I've addressed numerous convocation ceremonies and spoken at several educational institutions, I do so today with a special sense of honor and pride. This is not a college where I need to tell the students that medicine should be a calling, not a profession, that if you're motivated by money, you may as well be a banker, and that as healthcare professionals, you are here to pursue the highest calling, that of saving human lives. And in everything you do, you must not lose sight of that ultimate human endeavor. I don't need to tell you that because this is a college where you are taught that from the very beginning. Before anything else, though, let me begin by extending my heartiest congratulations and my warm wishes to the graduating batch. You've had to face daunting and often unkind odds from day one, whether it was a stiff competition to even get into this college, to the expectations of your rigorous curriculum and your impressive faculty, your work with the less privileged, rural service, marginalized sections of society through your stints in the countryside, and of course just living up to the hallowed legacy of this institution. All of these are odds that would perhaps have crippled others and challenged all. And yet you have not only stood firm, you have succeeded, and that is why you are in this room today. While there will undoubtedly be many a battle left before the ultimate war is won, many more miles to go in the famous cliché of Robert Frost before you can sleep, and while this is only the beginning of an exciting journey, take a moment to let it sink in and give yourselves a round of applause because you more than deserve it. You know, I've spoken at a lot of convocations, and after a while I began to notice something, which is that even in institutions where a vast majority of the student body is male, I began seeing over the years that a vast majority of the prize winners are female. So in this college, I decided to test this by actually counting the ones who came up on stage to receive the prizes, and I'm very pleased to tell you that 34 out of 46 prize winners today were female. That is 75%, my friend. I think this country is changing for the better every day, and there's one more proof of it. But my congratulations to all the young graduates who received their degrees today, Convocation Day is obviously one of the most important days in your life. It's a day when society publicly acknowledges your hard work, intense study, and dedication by conferring you your degree. The degree certificate is therefore a reflection both of your own efforts and achievements, and at the same time a token of your place in and your responsibility to the society to which you belong. As young professionals, you will have to do a lot of things and find many ways in which you can contribute to our nation. Your service to society will in turn be a reflection of the institution where you have studied. You are fortunate to have studied in and today graduated from St. John's. And this is also the moment then to applaud the teachers and administrators who have accompanied and guided you on your journey. Let's give them a hand. Now, one looks up the etymology of the term convocation, one can find its origins in the Latin term convocationem, literally to call together, and indirectly in the old French word convocation, with a similar significance of an assembly of persons. Now, if there's any time in our history when the importance of coming together could be vehemently emphasized, it's now. I don't think one needs to be in Parliament or even have come from the United Nations to realize that in a fractured, impatient, and yet hopeful world, education is the most significant instrument of maintaining peace and harmony, upholding human rights and fundamental freedoms, and resolving disputes through democratic dialogue and effective leadership. Medical education is at the pinnacle of this challenge. Becoming a doctor is a childhood dream for many. Perhaps there is no other career which commands such respect and awe as medicine. The power to heal has placed the medical profession several rungs above all others. A doctor's profession involves both the hard work and dedication that you've already shown to reach here today, and at the same time it also brings with it the satisfaction of having cured people suffering from illness, disease, and trauma. In fact, the emphasis on life was evident even throughout this ceremony. I was very struck that when you chose to honor His Eminence Cardinal Gracious and myself, you didn't do so by giving us bouquets, which involve, after all, the massacring of the flowers, but with live saplings, needing nurture and care to stay alive. What a wonderful symbol of this college's reverence for life. To the young graduates in the blue-trimmed robes, looking at those in the orange trim and more so the ones in the light yellow trim, you know that a simple degree in medicine is probably not enough to make a successful career. Many of you, I asked a few of you, many of you will go on to specialize in one of the branches of medicine or surgery, but whether you do so or not, increasingly doctors have to acquire new skills that the previous generation might not have. You have to acquire certain computer and IT skills, which are necessary to operate and use the sophisticated equipment without which the advanced practice of medicine is no longer possible. Soon new technologies involving artificial intelligence will help you make a better diagnosis of an aging patient. Robotics will help you conduct surgical procedures. Meanwhile, other advances might provide you with options to use non-invasive methods of treatment. The process of learning does not end today. It will have to go on. This occasion marks not the end of your learning, not even the beginning of the end, but merely the end of the beginning. Advances in medical sciences have enhanced our longevity and decreased mortality rates dramatically. However, industrialization and technological advancement have also adversely affected our environment and our lifestyles, and this has manifested itself in new types of diseases and ailments, which pose new challenges to the medical fraternity. The demand for medical professionals for treatment as well as research work is ever increasing, both within India and abroad. New and better opportunities have arisen for medical professionals in terms of remuneration, research, working facilities, and yet at the same time, the acute shortage of medical professionals in rural areas persists in our country. That's why I'm always disappointed to find medical doctors in other professions, like the civil services. I still hope that those amongst you, and I know there's at least one, who might be contemplating a career that does not require medical training, will reconsider your goals in knowing what a precious gift you have as a trained doctor, one that should not be wasted pushing files instead. It is sad but true that the medical education system in India has done little to strengthen the essential bonds between our graduates and the people they serve. In other words, our medical colleges are producing graduates who are not well equipped, or at least not inclined, to tackle the healthcare needs of our society. Experts tell me that most graduates are academically sound, have good marks on paper, but are often found deficient in the performance of clinical skills and problem solving, which form the core of clinical competence. Another complaint is that many doctors prefer to stay in the comfort of big cities and to specialize in diseases of the rich. St. John's, I know, emphasizes work among the rural poor in the course of your education, and I hope that is not an emphasis that you will allow to fade from your lives once you have graduated. And again, a tribute to Sister Beatrice and all that she's been doing since 1964 in this direction. The 21st century has presented us with unprecedented challenges. Deep-rooted poverty, the expanding nexus of discriminatory politics, resource curses and crises, a politics of hatred and division that exploits communal differences, and perhaps the greatest threat of our times, the rapidly deteriorating environmental situation, are the strongest reminders of why education should be and remain our first priority. Malala Yousafzai and Greta Thunberg have seized the imagination of the world even before going to college. In India, too, we have thousands of young graduates like you. It's time that you too transformed our nation with your innovations, your skills, and your expertise. Educated young people are our vital bulwarks against complete chaos and social breakdown. Young people and your ideas will be the edifice upon which our future will be built. And this is the future that we in India should be investing in. I would like to congratulate St. John's for its pioneering efforts to bring a discernible change in the field of Indian healthcare education and services. I see that the Academy has come a long way from its humble beginnings to its magnificent current campus. In the process, St. John's has done great service to the nation by creating a pool of trained, value-driven and committed healthcare professionals. Father Paul warned against the commodification of healthcare in his opening remarks. This, I think, remains a key warning. Given the scale and the energy invested in this institution, it's no surprise that it has received universal recognition and acclaim. Being an ardent supporter of indigenous healthcare research, I was very pleased to learn that the teachers and students of this institution have together done a lot of research, published several research papers, and the quality of this kind of research activity in medicine and allied health sciences being pursued on this campus is worth applauding. I wish it will continue and add to the luster that this college already enjoys. You may be aware that according to the World Bank, India has just 7 doctors per 10,000 people. How do we compare with the rest of the world? China has 19, USA has 25, Australia has 33. We have 7. In other words, going by these numbers, as of today, India needs about 4 lakh more doctors. Clearly, our country needs many more institutions such as this if we are to meet the minimum healthcare needs of our citizens. My dear students, I also hope you value the high quality of education that you have received at this academy. As you graduate today, you become part of the community of medical practitioners of India who are working tirelessly to serve our nation. For each of you today, this convocation will have multiple interpretations as you step out of this college. You could choose to interpret this world as one of insurmountable sufferings, or one that provides great opportunities. The choice is yours. But what you do with that, the answer in some ways lies in the words of the momentous speech by our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, at that midnight moment on August 15, 1947, when after hailing our country's tryst with destiny, he said, "It is fitting that at this solemn moment we take the pledge of dedication to the service of India and her people and to the still larger cause of humanity." I hope that you choose to align your interpretation to your profession and medical practice so you could truly serve your nation and humanity at large. I hope you also realize that not every profession in this world is bestowed with such responsibility and faith. I pray those words of Nehru help you understand the gravity of the title doctor before your name, which you heard for the first time as you came up to collect your degree from me. In addition to those words, you're also armed with the Hippocratic Oath, which was administered to you a few minutes ago. This oath not only binds you to your profession, your colleagues, your patients, but really to nothing less than the whole of humanity. The oath outlines the principles of probity, of secrecy, service, humanity and excellence, which must continue to guide you in your toughest endeavors, your darkest hours, and through the immense satisfaction and glory that awaits you. You must never fail to abide by it. My old boss of the United Nations, late Secretary General Kofi Annan, used to love telling the story of the hen and the pig discussing the problems of the world. So they're discussing one problem after another assailing humanity, and the hen says to the pig, my gosh, we have to do something about this. And the pig says, well, we're just a hen and a pig. What can we do to solve all these problems? And the hen says, listen, we just break up these problems into little items and we do our best, we can solve them. The pig says, how? And the hen says, listen, look at hunger, for example. The world is full of hunger. So why don't we do something? I'll produce the eggs and you produce the bacon. And between us, we'll get hunger licked. So the pig kicks up its hind legs and thinks for a moment, and it says, aha, so you produce the eggs, huh? And I produce the bacon. Yours is a contribution, mine is total commitment. Now I'm telling you this story, which he used to love to tell, because in many ways the doctors are the pigs in the story. We are demanding total commitment from you. By granting you your medical degrees, India is demanding your total commitment towards working for the future of our youthful country. Our youthful demographic will only work if we can keep them healthy and in a position to be able to seize the opportunities of the 21st century. You're joining this workforce as part of a greater whole, and therefore you must contribute, make your own individual contribution to the progress of the country and the well-being of that entire cohort